Good morning, everyone. Welcome to your morning 30-minute yoga session. And today we're going to use a couple of props. So if you have a bolster, you can use your bolster and have two towels and maybe a pillow for your head or another towel or blanket for your head. And you can also have two blocks if you don't have two towels or two blankets. So we're going to start seated on the bolster in a cross-legged position. So taking your support. And if you don't have a bolster, you can use two blankets stacked on top of one another. So sitting cross-legged on the bolster, the first thing you're going to do is move your pelvis back a little bit so you're on the support well, so you don't feel like you're leaning or falling forward. Then I want you to take the inner flesh of your thigh, use both hands, grab the top of the thigh closest to the hip joint, and turn the inner thigh down and pull the outer thigh, outer buttock out at a diagonal back behind you. Do the same thing on the other leg. Turn the inner thigh down, pull the outer thigh, outer buttock back at a diagonal. And bring your feet slightly forward of your knees. And then walk your feet out towards the corners of your legs so that when you lower your thighs, there's a feeling of support of the feet under the lower legs. So you bring the feet under the knees if possible. And some of you may have a little bit of challenge with this position. That's where one of your blankets or your blocks comes into place. You can place the block on the outside of the knee or thigh on each side, or you can use your towel. And what you'll do is you'll open your towel and you'll loosely roll it and just place it under the outside of your knees on top of your feet. So underneath the knees on top of the feet. That way you'll have some support there. Others of you may not need that support, so you can just allow your trunk to come slightly forward over the top thigh. And feel how that allows the thighs to descend. Then bring your hands beside you on the bolster and roll the outer elbows back. So let your outer elbows hug back and your inner elbows will wrap forward. So your elbows are a little bent. You're on your fingertips with the fingertips facing the direction of your knees. Roll the inner arm to outer arm so that the tricep points back, the elbow points back. The outer elbows are drawing back as the inner elbows draw forward, and feel the effect it has in your upper back. And allow the buttock bones to descend as you lift up through the sides of your trunk, now growing tall through the spine. Stay here and connect to deep breathing without straining your neck or your throat when you breathe in. So let the breath be long, slow, and smooth, and soften the sides of the abdominal wall back. Feel the buttock bones root back, and at the same time, feel that you're lifting the sides of the trunk. Stay connected to the breathing, soften the muscles of your face, and relax the skin, the musculature of the face back towards the skull. So even though you're looking forward, let your vision be slightly broad and soft. Now from this position, keep the height of the spine, and we're going to extend the arms forward. Reach the arms forward and inhale the arms up. And stretch up through the sides of your waist. Now, if you're leaning back, your abdomen will grip. So let your trunk come slightly forward to soften the abdomen. And exhale the arms forward and down. Again, inhale the arms forward and up. Feel that the arms are lifting the sides of your waist and trunk, even though you're rooting the buttocks down. So let the outer hips root down, the buttocks root down and lift through the side trunk. Keep breathing naturally. And then as you exhale, release your arms back down. And let's go for that extension again, reaching the arms forward. Thumbs face the ceiling. Inner arm turns to outer arm. Reach and stretch the arms up overhead. Lengthen and stretch up. And then as you exhale, release your arms back down. Now, if you have an opportunity now that you've been sitting, if it's uncomfortable for your knees or your hips, you can sit on higher support. You can even do this sitting on a chair to begin with or on a bench. Now also, we're going to bring the hands back again. Roll the shoulders back, lift the center of your spine up. And this time we're going to bring the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, and hug the elbows together. So I'm going to show you from the side for a moment that I'm bending the elbows. I'm rolling the shoulder heads back. And so I want the tricep to wrap toward, the bicep to wrap back toward the tricep and squeeze the elbows towards each other as if they're going to touch each other. Try to get them really to squeeze and then slowly begin to lengthen your knuckles towards the ground by firming the tricep muscle And feel how the bottom tip of the shoulder blades move into your back and elevate your chest. Then let the trapezius muscles at the base of your neck, behind your ears, soften down away from the back of your ears. Try to broaden across the upper back as if you're pulling your arms apart from one another, but they stay interlaced and you're staying firm through the triceps. Then bend your elbows and float the arms out. Inhale, stretch the arms up overhead. Once again, lift the sides of your waist through your ring fingers. Stretch the ring fingers up. And exhale, bring the arms wide, bring the arms down and back, and interlace the fingers the other way so it feels like you're holding someone else's hand, opposite thumb and index on top. Then again, bend the elbows slightly, roll the inner arm to outer arm, roll the shoulder heads back. Keep the elbows bending as you squeeze them towards each other. And keeping that squeeze, begin to lengthen the knuckles downward. And as your arms start to straighten, use the tricep muscle so that you're not overlocking your elbows. So those of us who are real flexible in the elbow joint or tend to hyperextend it, you can easily just jam your elbows. So I want you to start with that firmness of the tricep, extending the arms, feel the shoulder blades lifting your chest, soften the trapezius muscles away from the ears, down your back. Breathe into the sides of your chest, breathe into the sides of the armpits. Good. And then we're going to release the arms out to the side. Inhale, float the arms out. Stretch up, lengthen through your ring fingers. As you exhale, bring your right hand down to the floor and lift your left arm higher. Then walk your right hand a little bit out to the side. Bend your right elbow, drop your shoulder away from your ear, and then begin to lengthen the top arm. Lengthen the top arm over ear, and then lift with the top arm on your inhale to come up. Both arms coming up. Exhale, take the left hand to the floor. Lift the right arm as you inhale, stretching up. Grow a little taller through that right arm. And then as you walk your left hand out, bend the elbow, drop the shoulder, and bring that arm a little closer to your ear. Lift your chest up towards the chin or fingertips. Then use the top arm as you inhale, let it lift you up. And then exhale over to the other side. The hand is away from the side body. Bend the elbow, drop the shoulder, and lengthen the top arm, reaching the top arm further as you anchor your left hip. Inhale, lift with the top arm to come up. Exhale all the way over to the side. Walk the hand out, bend the elbow, drop the shoulder, lift the chest, turn, and lift the top arm. Inhale to come up. Exhale again over to the right side. Let your exhale complete entirely, rooting the left buttock and hip down. Use your inhale to lift the top arm and lift you up. One more time, exhale over to the left side. Walk the hand away, bend the elbow, drop the shoulder, keep the right buttock rooted, and extend the side of the trunk. Inhale, lift with the top arm to come up, and pause when you're upright. Bring your hands behind you again, beside your hips. Elbows hug back, root down, lift up through the spine. Take another breath or two here. Then if you're slipping forward on the bolster, adjust yourself so that you're comfortable on your seat. And rooting down, lift the sides of your trunk. Inhale, the arms go up, pinky fingers reaching forward and ring fingers reaching upward. As you exhale, turn to the right side. Turn your trunk, keeping the height of the spine. Inhale, back to the center. Exhale, turn to the left side. Inhale, back to the center. Keep the height. Exhale, turn to the right. And bring your right hand behind you on the bolster, left hand to your right knee. Roll your shoulders back and use the hands rooting down to help lift the spine up. Bringing the trunk slightly forward over the top thigh so you get an extension of your spine. And then feel that you can draw those right lower ribs in to help you turn as you exhale. The left ribs wrapping around to the right. And at the same time, spread your collarbones. Draw your shoulder blades onto your back. You can bend the elbows and roll your shoulders back and lift your chest up. As you exhale, turn a little deeper to the right. And inhale, sweep the arms up. Lengthen the sides of your waist as you lift to center. Exhale, turn to the left side. And bringing the hands down, left hand behind you, right hand to the outside of the left knee. Turn the right arm backwards so the palm faces away from your thigh. And that will help you roll your right shoulder back and roll your left shoulder back. Bend the elbows a little and broaden across your chest. Move down through the buttock bones and lift the sides of your spine. As you exhale, turn a little deeper, letting those left lower ribs suck into the body toward the spine as the right ribs wrap around. Then inhale, sweep the arms up toward the sky, coming back to the center. Use that to lift the sides of your spine tall. And then exhale and release the arms wide, back down to the sides. So now we're going to come off the bolster. So you're going to slide forward onto the buttocks, move the support out from behind you, and then pull your buttocks back. So you press down with your hands, lift your hips, and slide the buttocks back a little bit. Then bring your feet right under your lower legs. If you need that support, you can use a little bit of support here. So from this position, we're going to put our thumbs in the hip creases, and we're going to roll the shoulders back and lift up through the spine. Now, as you exhale, I want you to pull your chest up towards the ceiling, keeping the buttock bones rooted. Extend forward over the front thighs. If this is difficult for your knees or hips, you can do this on a chair or on a bench, just taking your feet a little bit apart, wider than your rib cage. And then inhale, come all the way back up. Exhale, elbows hug back. Inhale, lift the trunk. Lift the chest to look up. Your upper back moves in as the inner elbows roll forward, outer elbows roll back. Exhale, extend forward, going halfway to your capacity, keeping the upper back in. Inhale, come right back up. Stay for your exhale. Inhale, lift the spine, roll the outer elbows back. Exhale, hinge forward, extending to your capacity to keep the upper back in, and then bring one hand forward for support. Then the other hand comes forward for support. Be on the fingertips and roll the inner arms to the outer arms. Lift your chest forward, moving your upper back in. So it's not about rounding forward, but instead press the hands to lift the chest and roll the inner arm to outer arm. Then extend the sides of your trunk long as you walk your hands forward, any amount that feels right in your body. So walking the hands forward, forward, forward to lengthen the side body. Now, if it's difficult to fold forward, you may need to sit up on some support. So take whatever support you need so that you can feel free in the posture. Those of you who are forward, you can bend your elbows and place your hands on your forehead so your head has support, and relax the head down. And if you have more flexibility, more range of motion, walk the hands forward and lengthen a little further. Your front ribs lengthen over your shins, and then let your forehead rest on your forearms, folding your forearms like a genie, one on top of the other. Stay here for a few long breaths, breathing in and out through your nose. And just for a moment, let your brain drop. Let go of the eyes, the temples, the jaw, the throat. Breathing in and out through the nose, relax the base of your neck away from the back of your ears. Then we're going to walk our hands onto the floor to support ourselves back upright. And as you sit upright, notice which shin is in front of the other. And you're going to change the cross of your legs. So bring your hands beside you to support your spine to lift tall. Uncross your legs and stretch out through your knees. Spread the balls of your feet, spread your toes, and lift your kneecaps as you press the thighs down. Breathe here as you roll your shoulders back, open across the front of your chest. Good. Now we're going to cross the opposite shin in front. So changing the crossing of the legs. Move your feet a little bit forward so that your feet can walk out to the edges towards the knees, and then let the thighs descend so that the feet are under your lower legs. And if you look down, you'll look to even out the height of the knees by adjusting your feet. And once you have that, bring your hands to your hips, root the thumbs down, roll the elbows back. Inhale, lift the spine. Elbows hugging back from the outside, inner elbows going forward to move the shoulder blades in. As you exhale, hinge forward, flex your feet, and on your inhale, come right back up. Exhale, elbows hug back, extend the trunk forward, and inhale back up. Stay for your exhale. Inhale, lift the sides of the trunk. Exhale, hinge and extend forward. Then walk one hand forward, the opposite of when you did last time. Support yourself, and then the other hand comes forward. Be on the fingertips for a moment. Roll your inner arms to outer arms, and lift your spine. Lift your chest and move your shoulder blades down your back. So you're looking forward with your chest. You're allowing the lower chest to go forward. So the lower sternum is moving toward the upper sternum. Now keep the length in the sides of your trunk and creep your hands forward. Keep looking forward so it helps you not collapse your upper back. Flex your feet. Now you may be at your range of motion. Be where you are and maybe build support by stacking your blocks one on top of the other. And place your forehead on the block as you extend your arms forward. Those of you who can put your elbows on the ground and rest your head on your hands. Or you may be able to extend the arms a little away from the hips, even as the buttock stays rooted down. Cross your forearms and rest your head. Take a few long cycles of breath with the head supported. Breathing in and out effortlessly through your nose. Take a moment to soften the muscles of your face, the corners of your eyes, your temples, and your throat. Good, and then use your hands to press the floor away, coming back upright. And now we're going to extend the legs out again. Stretch out through your knees, spread your toes, place the hands beside your hips. Press down, roll your shoulders back, and lift the sides of your trunk. Lift your kneecaps, press your thighs down. Take a nice full breath as you open through the back of the knees and lift up through the whole of the spine. Now we're going to come back up onto our support. So you can come onto your bolster or your two blankets again. Please sit upright. So you want to have enough support that your whole spine is extended. If your lower back pulls back like this, and your upper back is rounding and your knees are lifting, that means you need more height under your seat. So take as much height as you need, even if it's 2 sofa cushions. Then begin to extend one leg out to the side, the other leg out to the side, going for a wide-legged open position. So this position is just to let the legs open. So you're stretching through the back of the knees, but you're not pushing your knees down to the floor. Place your hands beside you on your support. Bend your elbows a little and hug the outer arms back. Roll the shoulders back. Take the outer elbows back, inner elbows forward, and feel the effect of moving the upper back inward and upward. Then just take a peek at your toes and spread your toes. And see if the pinky toe can point straight up to the ceiling. So you want the outer edges of your feet pointing straight up towards the sky. And then check out your knees and see that the knees are pointing straight up towards the ceiling. So one leg is not rolled back more than the other or forward. Try to balance the two out. Then take both hands to your inner thigh, outer thigh. Move the inner flesh of the thigh to the floor and the outer thigh, outer buttock back at a diagonal. Do that on both sides. Turn the inner thigh down, outer thigh, outer buttock back at a diagonal. And then use your hands to root the top of the buttocks down, the top of the thighs down. And then notice what happened to your feet. Did they roll back or forward? Try to turn the pinky toes to face the ceiling. Outer edges of the feet tall. And then press the top of the thighs into your support. Your kneecaps will lift and your legs will extend. Hands beside you for support. Placing the hands beside your hips, hug the outer elbows back, inner elbows forward, lift the spine. Be here for a couple of more breaths, breathing in and out through the nose, feeling the length from the inner legs to the inner knees. And feel the length as if you're stretching from the inner knees to the inner heels. And spreading the big toes, spreading all of the toes. Take 2 more long cycles of breath, keeping the legs active without jamming the knees downward. You're just lifting the kneecaps up. Good. Now you're going to take your hands inside of your knees, grab from the inside of your legs, and lift your knees up to bring the soles of the feet together, the knees open to the side. Then again, take your hands beside your hips and bend the elbows slightly, roll the shoulder heads back, inner arm to arm, outer elbows hugging back, inner elbows moving forward. And lift the sides of your chest, then allowing the soles of the feet to press gently towards one another to lengthen the inner knee, groin to the inner knees. Now here, the thigh bones are rolling back. So see if you can feel an expression of the thigh bones rolling back as you press the edges of the feet. Keep the length and height through the spine, sitting tall. Take a couple of breaths. And now we're going to bring the thighs back together. Extend one leg out to the side. Extend the other leg out to the side. And then root down through the sides of your pelvis and press the hands to lift the sides of your trunk. Good. Now you're looking at your feet again. See that the pinky toes point up. And now lift your kneecaps. And you're going to use your hands on your support to literally lift your buttocks up and slide forward off of the support onto the ground. So as you come forward, you do it without bending your knees. It will help you lengthen the legs a little bit more. Now keep your hands beside your hips. Bend the elbows slightly, roll the shoulders back, lift the sides of the trunk. Look at your feet. Are they rolling back? Try to roll them so that the outer foot is pointing up. The pinky toe points straight up. Then lift your kneecaps. And now imagine your buttock bones are going to go towards your heels. And lengthen your inner legs to your inner knees. All the way from the topmost part of the thigh, let it elongate to the inner knee. And from the inner knee, lengthen to your inner heel and through your big toes, spreading. Then from the outer thighs, root down. Let the buttock bones feel the ground. Let them root down, and using your hands, lift the sides of your trunk. Upavishta Konasana is the name of this pose. It's the wide angle pose. So keep the legs strong and active. And then once again, we're going to use our hands beside us. We're going to press into the ground to lift the buttocks and move it an inch forward. And keep the legs straight as you go forward. And spread your toes. Keep your hands for support. Look at the outer pinky edges of your feet. And point them up. Spread through your toes. Reach the ball of the foot slightly forward. And as you lengthen from your inner groins to the inner knee, lengthen from the inner knee to the inner heel, and lengthen the arches of your feet up. Then press the outer thighs, outer hips down, and lift up through the sides of the trunk. The kneecaps are lifting, but the legs are spreading outwardly towards the inner heels. Now lengthening the Achilles heel. See if you can eliminate the light that's behind your ankle bone without lifting your heels off the ground. The heels must stay down as you press the thighs and lift the sides of the trunk. Then take your hands to the inside of your knees again, and lifting the knees from inside, bring the soles of the feet together. Take your hands 2 to 1 ankle and bring that ankle closer to you. Take the other hands 2 to 1 ankle, bring the ankle in so the soles of the feet touch. Place your hands beside you on your support or on the floor, and once again roll the shoulders back, lift the sides of the trunk, and let the soles of the feet press together. Think of the outer long bone of your foot pressing together, and maybe the inner feet will start to open outwardly. Lift through the sides of the trunk, connect to your breath. Feel that you can bring your trunk slightly forward over the top thigh to release the groins back. So the groins aren't pushing forward and outward. Instead, they're releasing back into your body, and then you press the feet and lengthen the inner legs a little bit more. The name of this pose is called Baddha Konasana, the bound angle pose. we take another breath or two in Baddha Konasana. Then go ahead and fold your thighs back together, extending your legs straight out. Place your hands beside you for support. Separate your feet a little bit and spread your toes as you root down, lift through the sides of your trunk. This pose is called Dandasana, the staff pose. Lift the kneecaps, press the thighs, and feel how that helps the whole spine gain extension. Then we're going to take our hands to the inner knees. Bring the knees out, soles of the feet together once again. And we're going to extend one leg out to the side. And keep this the foot that's bent, the knee that's bent, keep it where it was, right in the midline of your pubis. And actually pull your heel out a little bit and let your outer edge of your long bone of your foot be on the mat so that you can flex the foot and encourage this thigh of the bent knee to roll down. Bring your hands beside you for support and encourage that inner leg to lengthen to the inner knee. You may need to add a support if your knee is not coming close to the floor. Just put your blanket there or your yoga block. And look at your left foot now and see that the pinky toe is facing up. As you move the thigh, lift up through the spine. Breathing here. Now we're going to bring that other leg back in. So bring your hand behind the inside of the knee. Lift the knee, bring the soles of the feet together. And then change. Take the opposite leg out to the side, keeping that other foot where it was in line with your center, and just pull the knee out, the foot out a little bit. Use your hands for support, lift and lengthen the spine, and encourage the flesh of your skin to move towards the inner knee. And let that inner leg lengthen, then look at your right foot and let the pinky toe point upward as you root the top of the thigh, lift the kneecap, firm the thigh down, and lift the sides of the trunk upward. Be here and connect to a deep inhalation and a long, complete exhalation. Good. Then we're going to take the hand behind the inside of the knee to lift the knee and bring the soles of the feet together. And then bring both hands to one ankle, bring the heel in. Both hands to the other ankle, bring the heel in. Place your hands beside you for support. Roll the shoulders, elbows back. Lift the chest. Press the long bones of your feet, the outer edges of the feet together to lengthen the inner legs. Good. And then start to bring your thighs back together. Extend out through the legs. Bring your legs wide once again, out to the sides. Lift your buttocks and move your buttocks back this time. Take the flesh of your hand, take your hands to the flesh of your thigh, turn the thigh in and down on both legs, take the buttock flesh out the back side, and then use your hands on your thighs to root the top of the outer thighs down. Look at the pinky toes, point them up, lengthen through the inner legs, lift and extend the spine. Roll the shoulders back to get more height through the spine. Inhale here. As you exhale, turn towards your left leg. And turning toward the left leg, stay upright through the spine. Then we're going to come back through the center. Hands beside you. Inhale, lift the spine tall. Kneecaps lift, pinky toes pointing up. Lengthen the inner legs. Exhale, turn towards your right leg. One hand on the outside of your right thigh. One hand on the inside. Root the hands to lift the spine as you breathe. Good. Then we're going to return to the center. Inhale, place the hands to lift the spine. Exhale, turn towards your left leg. Now keep your trunk facing the left leg and begin to reach your right hand toward your left inner foot. If you cannot reach the foot, grab your ankle. Use your left hand beside your knee or thigh and press down to lift the trunk upward, like you're going to look forward with your chest toward your toes. And then gently draw those left ribs slightly in towards the midline and turn the abdomen towards the right towards the left. And then bend the elbow and fold forward. Take hold of the outside of both feet. Take hold of the outside of your foot with both hands, rather. And lengthen the abdomen, the chest forward. Then walk your hands onto the floor beside your leg. Walk yourself back upright. Lift and lengthen the spine as you inhale. Exhale, turn to the left side. To your right side. Move down through your hands to lift the spine tall. Take the right rib slightly in at the bottom and turn the abdomen towards the right. Inhale to lengthen the spine and reach forward with your left hand to the inside of your right foot. Pinky toes pointing up, lengthen the inner legs, press the top of the thigh, and then bring your opposite hand forward. And hold on to the outsides of the feet, of the foot. If you feel like you're falling forward, use your right hand beside your right knee or thigh. Lift the spine a little, lengthen, and then turn the abdomen. Hold in a little deeper. Reach for the outside of the foot. Lift your elbows up. And drawing the elbows up and lengthen your chest forward. Connect to your breath. Then place your hands beside your foot. Walk yourself upright. Return to the center. Good. Now we're going to bring our hands beside our hips. Roll the elbows back. Inhale, lift the spine. Exhale, begin to hinge forward, but keep the buttocks down. If it's helpful, use your thumbs in your crease of your hips and root the buttocks back. The buttocks rolls down towards the floor, even as you extend any amount forward. Then one hand comes forward for support. The other hand comes forward. Be on your fingertips, lift your chest. Turn the inner arm to outer arm, draw your shoulder blades down and pull the chest forward. This may be as far as you go, or those of you who can, you can put your elbows on the ground and keep the upper back moving in. Connect to your breath as you lengthen through the inner leg. And then walk your hands back toward your body. Bring your hands inside of your knees. Lift your knees, soles of the feet together. And then extend one knee up and forward, the other knee up and forward. Use your hands beside you, roll the shoulders back, lift the spine. I'm going to give you your final resting pose where you can stay, if you like, in the pose. So we're going to place the bolster behind us. So you can take it to one side of you, turn around. Take a pillow or a blanket for your head at the top of that bolster. And then you're going to have your 2 blankets or your 2 yoga blocks. So I'm going to use a blanket, or you can use a sofa cushion pillow, and you roll it up and put it outside of your thigh. And you do the same thing on the other side. You roll it up and put it outside of your thigh. Then you're going to sit up on your bolster. And as you sit up, bring the soles of your feet together, knees apart. And now you're going to use the bolster for support as you lift the buttocks and move the buttocks forward toward your feet. So you lift up and try not to move your feet until you have to. And when you have to inch the feet forward, let them inch forward. Bring your buttocks all the way to the floor. Then have your blankets right under your thighs. Bring your hands beside your back on the sides of the bolster. Roll the inner arm to outer arm, lift the chest, and begin to recline back with your chest open. Then bring your pillow all the way under your neck up to your shoulders. Then use your hands under your buttocks, lift your buttocks and tuck your tail forward. Push the flesh of the buttocks further forward toward your heels and have the thighs deeply supported. Turn your arms open, tuck your shoulders under your back. Let the forehead be slightly above the level of your chin. And look up to the ceiling, stretch the eyes back toward your eyebrows. And then as you exhale, let your eyes softly close from top to bottom. And take a moment to take a long, slow breath here. And a long exhalation. And you can stay in this pose from 5 to 10 minutes, as long as your thighs feel supported. If this is not comfortable for your knees, you can always extend one leg and then the other and rest there with the outer thighs supported. So take a moment to connect to the breath as it flows evenly in and out through your nose. Let the back of the neck be long. Relax the muscles of the face. Soften the inner and outer corners of your eyes. And just taking a few moments and surrender. I'll leave you here. Namaste.